الصبر في العلم يحتاج منك إلى قوة نفسية صارمة لأن تحفظ وأن تفهم وأن تستمع وأن يكون العلم هو الشغل الشاغل.
Then we move on to another political organization that resembles the Ikhwan, but they are slightly different. And that is known as Hizbut Tahrir. Okay, Hizbut Tahrir. Hizbut Tahrir, they are a political group as well. They were founded in 1953 by Taqiyuddin al-Nabahani. Okay, so they were founded in 1953 by Taqiyuddin al-Nabahani. And he was born in the year 1909. He also was an Ash'ari Sufi. And his grandfather was an enemy to the Salafi da'wah. The grandfather of Taqiyuddin al-Nabahani, he was an adu to the people of Sunnah. His grandfather's name was Yusuf ibn Ismail al-Nabahani. Yusuf ibn Ismail al-Nabahani, a Sufi, a hardcore Sufi. In fact, he has a book called Shawahid al-Haq fi istighathati bi Sayyid al-Khalq. The clear proofs in seeking help from the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Yani istighatha, shirk. He wrote a book in defense of it. And he defends this belief of istighatha. So this was his grandfather. So we see what type of environment he grew up in. Okay, so his background was Sufi Ash'ari. Hizbut Tahrir, they advocate and call to the establishment of an Islamic country run by the Khilafah. So they are fixated again by establishing the Khilafah. That's what the fundamentals of the da'wah is. The centrality of the da'wah is to establish Khilafah. And this goal, according to them, is to be achieved in a political manner and not by way of violence or armed struggle. Okay? So in essence, they are Makhanith al-Khawarij. They are the effeminates from the Khawarij. And for those of you who are from the Indian subcontinent, they are the Kusra of the Khawarij. Okay? We have something called a Kusra, which is a man who pretends to be a woman. So they are not brave enough to rebel and take up arms. So they are the Makhanith al-Khawarij. They're like the effeminate girly type. The watered down version. So they will speak in the speech of the Khawarij, but they won't do anything. They're not going to do anything. They don't believe in violence and khuruj, and that's what they say. We don't believe in khuruj, and we don't pick up swords and stuff like this. We just want to sit on our armchairs and critique. This is what they say. Allah musta'an. So they are Makhanith al-Khawarij. And Taqiyuddin al-Nabahani, he originally was a Ba'athi nationalist. The Ba'athist party was a party that was made by a Nasrani Christian, and it's a racist party. They believe that Arabs are superior. So an Arab Christian is better than a non-Arab Muslim. This is what they used to believe. Okay, the Ba'athiyya, the Ba'athist party. And that's what he originally used to be part of. But after which, of course, he sought to establish the Khilafah by ways by ways of a political struggle, by using Marxist style principles and means. But he added like an Islamic undertone to it. Okay, so he left the Ba'athi party and he embarked upon establishing the Khilafah through these political means. And this group, of course, has many deviances, but we'll mention about 7. So number 1, their founder was upon a Neo-Mu'tazili Ash'ari creed. Okay, Neo-Mu'tazili Ash'ari creed. And he said, Taqiyuddin al-Nabahani himself, he said in his book, Shakhsiyya Islamiyya, in reference to Wasil ibn Ata and Amr ibn Ubaid. Does anybody know who Wasil ibn Ata is and Amr ibn Ubaid? You will learn about them in the next session with Ustaadh Ehsan Arshad, inshallah. The Wasil ibn Ata and Amr ibn Ubaid, they were from the heads of the Mu'tazila. Okay, they were in the circles of Al-Hasan al-Basri, and somebody asked Al-Hasan al-Basri about the ruling regarding the Sahib al-Kabira. And so Wasil ibn Ata, he said that he is Khalid Mukhallid fi nar or fi manzalatin bayna manzalatayn. So then Al-Hasan al-Basri rebuked him. So what did he do? He got up and he left. He made i'tizal. He left that gathering, and they were known as the Mu'tazila. So they have deviant creed, and the Salaf, all of the Salaf, qatibatan, made tabdi' of Wasil ibn Ata and Amr ibn Ubaid and the Mu'tazila. But what does Taqiyuddin al-Nabahani say in his book Shakhsiyya Islamiyya about Wasil ibn Ata and Amr ibn Ubaid? He said, they did not deviate in any aspect of Aqidah, despite their differences in creed. All of them are Muslims defending Islam. This is what Taqiyuddin al-Nabahani said about these 2 innovators who the Salaf made tabdi' upon. That they didn't deviate in creed. okay, even though they had different creed, but they didn't deviate. And what they wanted to do was defend Islam. And subhanAllah, he says also in the same book, Taqi al-Nabahani, that khabar ahad are not a hujjah in aqidah. Okay, khabar ahad refers to those singular narrations of hadith that have come from a singular route. He says that we don't believe this to be a hujjah, a proof in aqidah. And this is what the Mu'tazila said. So he was like a neo-Mu'tazili. And Hizbut Tahrir, they try to be intellectual. They give this intellectual type of persona about themselves. They use big words. And they try to act like they're clever. But so he believed in this, that khabar ahad, they are not a hujjah in aqidah. And the Salaf rahimahullah condemned such a people who believed in this. As-San'ani in his book Al-Intisar li Ashab al-Hadeeth, he mentions that from the hallmarks of the people of bid'ah is rejecting khabar ahad. So again, this opposes the aqeedah and manhaj of the Salaf. We take khabar ahad in aqeedah as a hujjah as long as it is authentic. He also made ta'weel of the verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Yadullahi fawqa aydihim. The hand of Allah is over their hand or their hands. And in his book, he mentions that this means the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he makes ta'weel of the sifat of Allah azza wa jal. So the founder himself of Hizbut Tahrir was an Ash'ari munharif, neo-Mu'tazili, who opposed even the manhaj of the Ash'ari in some aspects as well. So if the founder is upon batil, then what do you expect about the rest of the group? Number two, their glorification of the intellect by way of ilm al-kalam, which is also apparent in their works and their speech. So they give an emphasis to ilm al-kalam. And they have this intellectual persona about themselves. And in regards to the khabar ahad, subhanallah, this is something that they actually believe in, they don't accept it. So they will deny, for example, the punishment of the grave. Okay, that's another point as well, separate I mentioned. However, them denying khabar ahad, they will have to deny certain points of aqidah and hadith as well in relation to aqidah. One of them, I said, is it true that you deny khabar ahad in aqidah? He said, yes. I said, do you know the last hadith in Bukhari? Kalimatan khafifatan ala al-lisan, habibatan ila al-Rahman, subhanallah bihamdi subhanallah al-azim. He goes, yes. I go, there are two words, light upon the tongue, easy to say, beloved to Allah, subhanallah bihamdi subhanallah al-azim. This hadith is authentic? He said, yes. I go, do you accept it? He goes, yes. I said, do you know it's ahad? And he goes, no. I go, okay, it's ahad. So does Allah love these two words or not? Subhanallah bihamdi subhanallah al-azim. Is this from your aqidah that Allah loves these two words? And then he was quiet for a while, and then he said, I actually didn't think about that. Subhanallah. He's from London as well. He goes, I didn't think about that actually. Subhanallah. This is what your usul will lead you to then, knowingly and unknowingly. So according to you, Allah does not love these two phrases. You can't have it as part of your aqidah. Karitha, it's a disaster, subhanallah. And Imam Bukhari, rahimahullah, he starts his Sahih with khabar ahad, and he ends it with khabar ahad, and he mentions within his Sahih khabar ahad, and he has a chapter regarding khabar ahad as well, subhanallah. So they clearly oppose the manhaj of the Salaf in this regard. Number three, their fundamental in aqidah is not to call to tawheed, but the establishment of the Khilafah. In fact, one of them actually said to me that tawheed can only be established through the Khilafah. And he came to me to one of the Masjid in Birmingham, and he's a famous guy on TikTok. I don't know his name. I don't want to say his name either, but he's very famous on TikTok, and he's always talking about the Hizb. He's a very short beard, and we were discussing, and he said that Tawheed can only be established through the Khilafah. Subhanallah, you're doing the opposite of what the Prophet ﷺ said and did. Allah understand. And they have many other, we've sat with them many times, Brother Abdullah knows that we've sat with them many times, and they are young youth who don't have any ilm about Islam, no shari'i ilm. And one of them, he said that drinking alcohol is kufr. Like this, subhanallah. No knowledge whatsoever, no ilm whatsoever, subhanallah. So the fundamental of their aqidah is actually to establish the Khilafah, literally. Number four, Hizbut Tahrir, they actually went to Ayatollah Khomeini. Ayatollah Khomeini, or should we say La'natullah ala Khomeini, the Imam of the Iranian resistance, so-called Islamic revolution in 1979, Rafidi. They went to him and they asked him to establish the Khilafah. They said, we will give you the bay'ah and we'll make you the Khalifa, but with certain conditions. They went to him in that regard. And this is their magazine. There's a magazine known as Al-Wa'i. They have a magazine known as Al-Wa'i, which is managed by the Hizb. They praised the book of Khomeini, his book, he wrote a book called Al-Hukumat Al-Islamiyya. Al-Hukumat Al-Islamiyya, famous book. And within there, he says that the 12 Imams, the 12 Imams of the Shia are better than all of the angels and the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Hizb praised this book. They said this is one of the best books written on Islamic governance. So again, see, they don't give emphasis to Aqeedah and Tawheed, but just because he wrote a good book on Islamic governance, they praise it, subhanAllah. So it shows the absence of the correct Aqeedah within them. Number 5, they reject the punishment of the grave because it's khabar ahad. Okay, so they reject the punishment of the grave. You ask anybody who is part of the Hizb, do you believe in the punishment of the grave? No, because it's khabar ahad according to them. Number 6, they're speaking publicly about the rulers openly and inciting against them. This is from their hallmarks as well. They will mention the rulers in a bad light. They will speak negatively against them. They would call them names and incite against them. However, they won't pick up the swords themselves. They won't physically do anything. Okay. And number 7, they see that the lands of Muslims are Daar al-Kufr. All of the lands of the Muslims is Daar al-Kufr. Even Mecca and Medina. You say to them today, Mecca and Medina, where the people make Hajj and Umrah, where the Prophet ﷺ buried, is it Dar al-Islam or Dar al-Kufr? They say Dar al-Kufr. This is what they believe, subhanAllah. Dar al-Kufr. Where the Prophet ﷺ said that there is no hijrah ba'd al-Fath, and that the shaitan, he has given up hope that he'll be worshipped in the Arabian Peninsula. The place where the Prophet ﷺ conquered, where he's buried, is Dar al-Kufr. This is what they believe. Wal-'iyadhu billah. So this is, of course, in very brief, the mukhalafat of Hizbut Tahrir. And to be honest with you, they are jama'ah, they are fashila. They are literally losers. They've established themselves for how long and they haven't achieved nothing. You ask any one of the Hizb, what has your jama'ah achieved since 1953 when you established your Hizb? What have you achieved? What have you done for the ummah? Nothing. Nothing. You haven't taught anybody anything. You haven't produced anything. All you do is you sit in coffee shops, in shisha bars, and talk about the Khilafah. Wallahi, one of them, he was talking about the Khilafah to me in Speaker's Corner, and he's with a vaping. I said, subhanAllah, I go, you want to establish the Khilafah and you're vaping? He goes, yeah, ikhtilaf, innit? Subhanallah. You just can't, honestly, I don't even know why you included these people. Like, Allah understand, they are a waste of time. You talking to them, you are better off talking to a lamppost, like one brother did before. Ala kulli hal, it's 7:26 now, so 15-minute break. There is one jama'ah left, okay, and then 2 jama'at left, part of this session, but I will have to include them in the next one, inshallah, bidhnillah. Wallahu a'lam wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.